We are going to talk to you all today about our top 3 and potentially honorable mention for a few topics. Category 1
are the top animation, top shows, top movies, top games, and comics/books of the year. So, yeah, we got a full one.
Joy Schtick Show.
Happy New Year, everyone! It's the Joy Schtick Show. Hey! We're back! In a brand new year, the 3 brothers from Hawaii have gathered again to discuss with you some things that we've read, watched, or played. And it's going to be the season to remember, because we're going to remember all these things in order. And if you fancy what you hear, please like and subscribe on the platform you frequent. It helps us out a lot. I'm your co-host, Drake. That's Thomas.
What up, everybody? Happy New Year.
And that's Scott.
How's it? Happy New Year, guys.
Damn.
I am pumped.
No, that was great. Good vibrato.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
So, we are going to talk to you all today about our top 3 and potentially honorable mention for a few topics. Category 1 is going to be our top... What is it, Tom?
Yeah, so our top categories are... Thanks, Notes app. We got the top animation, top shows, top movies, top games, and comics/books of the year. So, yeah, we got a full one. At the end, we get into some things we're thankful for, and then our 2024 most anticipated and some predictions.
Bam. And if that doesn't excite you here, then I guess you're going to have to go back inside, find somebody to ask them for a consent to kiss, drink some champagne, buckle up, and get ready for the new year. So why don't we kick it off, Tom? Give us our first category, and we will descend.
Yeah. Okay. So starting right off the bat, we are doing the top anime/mation of the year. And for my number 3 pick, I have Across the Spider-Verse.
Wow, number 3.
I know. That's going to give me hate. I already know people are going to call me an idiot. It's my number 3, though.
Okay. And Scott, give us your numero 3.
No, just that. Oh, number 3. Just I felt like
wait, no,
I felt like you guys
see.
already disagreed.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, whatever. What's your picks?
What a dumb pick. My pick was...
Oh my gosh, too good.
Man, okay. So, when I heard animation, I was thinking just like animated shows and not movies.
Okay, so that's fine. I mean,
that kind of throws me off a little bit.
Animation or anime, it's kind of there.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, you know what? Number 3, I think I'm still doing this. Number 3 for me is Chainsaw Man.
Ooh.
Oh, Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man. Oh, so good, dude.
It was good.
I can't wait for that to come back. I want to jump in and start reading it, but then I also like waiting for the next episode and watching it like while it comes out. So I'm torn constantly.
Right.
But Chainsaw Man, so
definitely.
Okay.
The dirtiest like anime that's popped up, I feel like recently, and it's still like cool characters, cool action. That show was like a sleeper hit for me. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. And I was like, what
so stupid, the concept and the name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's great though. So,
but like it's so deep too, like the characters and like the thought process behind like the gods or like whatever they call them or like demons that like take over you is like that's a really crazy concept. The more humans fear it, the stronger that demon is. That's wild.
Really cool. I like that. Yeah,
super sick. Kind of our topic that we were talking about, fear in general.
Yeah.
Just negate it.
It's a terrible excuse, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you any pep talks anymore.
I love sorry. I can only try and make things funny because I'm uncomfortable. Go for it, Drake.
Oh, my number 3. This is gonna sound very atypical, but I'm gonna go with South Park.
Oh, okay.
The reason being is we've been watching it since 96? And it's still going on. It's still going strong. It's still pushing the boundary. Mm-hmm. It's only getting better. Well, I mean, it's refining its own animation, but it's staying so present, and it's with characters you've grown with, and it hits on political cues kind of a little bit more on the nose and much more verbose than other shows like The Simpsons and or Family Guy, which are also long-term shows that we've lived with for years. But South Park just continues to keep pushing things forward, even now in a changing world, and I appreciate what it's been able to do over these years. So number 3 goes to South Park.
Right on.
Very cool.
Yep. I'm no disagreement there. I think that was a cool choice. All right, number 2 for me is My Hero Academia.
Nice.
This season was phenomenal. I will say that this was like the highest highs and the lowest lows. So when the show was good, it was like unbelievably good. I was like, holy shit, did not expect any of that to happen. But then when it was bad, it was really slow. And I'm like, where is this going? But I feel like it brought it home at the end of the season. And I think next season's the last season. So I'm super, super hyped for it. Still continues to be my favorite anime. And yeah, so for that, this latest season of My Hero Academia.
Ooh.
There.
Scott, can you give us something the same or different?
Different. It's gonna be different. So
Oh,
I think
okay.
now that I'm including movies, I think my number 2 is the TMNT movie.
Nice. Mutant
it
Mayhem.
was-
Elaborate.
Yeah, it was one of those like I think the art direction and everything was just so like fresh, and I feel like along with the Spider-Verse and then now TMNT, I feel like that was like the next jump into like, hey, animators, like, take crazy chances and you can still make cool movies. So like I'm hoping to see like even stranger like animation styles like hitting the big screen,
Yeah.
Like I really like that. And then the story overall was good. It was funny. It had still had all that great turtle feel. It kept it new and fresh, but
Great
also
turtle
like
feel.
that.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Cold-blooded.
Yeah, those turtles feel
Yeah.
real nice.
Yeah, just all up
I
against
like
your
'em on
skin.
my
Love
skin.
salmonella.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, really cool movie. I really enjoyed it. I knew I was gonna like it, but I liked it even more after I saw it. So that was
wow.
was good.
Wow. Sounds like you just met. You're like, hey, why don't we take this outside? And then you guys
What are you doing?
warm embrace. Like, hey, what's up, girl?
Hey, I just met you. This is
Okay,
cool.
moving on. Go.
Okay, moving
go.
on.
Let's lay out. Let's
Pick it up.
Okay, number 2, I'm gonna go Mario Bros. Mainly because it's from a reputable source. Illumination chose to take it on, and I think animation-wise, it wasn't anything record-breaking, but I think being able to actually bring Mario to the screen, I think was a long time running. Thanks John Leguizamo back in the day, and thanks like animated situations, but to get it in that form with multiple things we can relate to, much appreciated. Number 2 goes to you, Mario Bros.
Solid choice.
I like it.
It kind of falls in line, I think, with your South Park because there were so many like topical jokes that they had in there that was like great callbacks and everything. That movie was way better than it should have been.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 1 pick, before I get into it, my honorable mention was actually something that Scott said plus something else. So Mutant Mayhem was so effing good. Like I was so surprised how good that movie was. It was fantastic. It looked beautiful. But my other part of that in the honorable mentions category is Nimona, that was on Netflix. About that little
forgot
girl
that
that turns into the
That was
beast.
cool.
Yeah, so that one was so tight. I love
was
that
real
movie. Again, that was like a sleeper hit for me. And then when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, they brought it. This movie's incredible. Plus, I'm a fan of anything Riz Ahmed does, and I had no idea that was like Chloe Grace Moretz as Nimona. So, honorable mention.
Chloe Grace.
Yeah. My number 1 pick for this year for animation, though, is Blue Eye Samurai. It blew me away.
Okay.
Good number 1, I gotta say.
It blew you away?
We're gonna hear that again. Someone.
We're back with the copying, huh?
I gotta look at his number 1s. No.
But Blue Eye Samurai, phenomenal all around. Voice acting was done well. The animation is incredible. The story was like it's not even fair to say like animation in a way because I think that turns people off from it. Like, people hear animation, they think it's for kids, but this is not for kids. There's like nudity, there's gore, there's blood. Like this is like Kill Bill amped up to like 100 for me. And I like it even more than Kill Bill, like set in feudal Japan. Bro, this movie, holy shit. Or the show, I mean, so good.
But it was like a movie. It was so good.
Yeah, every episode was like a movie. Like I will say, it's like episode 5 of that show is one of the best standalone episodes of any show I've ever seen. I promise you. Like I put it in the top 5 of any show I've ever seen. It is so good.
Some praise.
Like if this was like a adult Pixar short film and they just released that, I'd be like, holy fuck, we need to make a movie or something. Give them money.
Right.
Like,
can we get this into a series? Yeah.
You had me at series.
There you go. Right. And then now that we got the series, like, yeah, but we want the movie. Now we want the game. I mean, seriously, I want to just live in this world that they built, the way they used colors, the way they drew certain things, the way they were like able to animate fight scenes. Bro, that show like blew me away. So that's definitely my number 1.
Yep.
Scott, what is your number one? Or
just go for it.
Oh, just
okay. Let's piggyback that idea. Number 1 is still a Blue Eye Samurai. Okay.
Okay.
I think you described it well when you said, like it's an animation, but you almost don't want to call it that. Like it is weird. Like so, there are people I work with that enjoy good stuff, and every once in a while we'll like tell each other like, "Oh, you check this out. Check this out." With this show, I'm leading like. Do you watch any sort of animation? Like, oh, not really. And I'm like, there's a show that I think you should check out. And like I always have to tell them like the story's freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
The voice acting's amazing. And like, I think even if you don't like animation, you'll like the show. Like it's done so well.
Right. Like I think I'm leading off with like, do you like Kill Bill? Because
that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, like you know, and then you're like, it just it's the story about this is this. By the way, it's animated. Like that's how I'm pitching it from now on. Because it's not animation. It's way better than that. Like it's way better than it should be in this medium or like what people think it is.
Mm.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, so definitely agree with that. Honorable mention, of course, Mario and Spider-Man. They're amazing, and I do love those movies. But
you gave me shit
my honorable
for
mention
Across Spider-Verse being number 3, and yours is an honorable mentions. You bastard!
Yeah, I don't know who gave you shit, dude. My honorable mention was Legend of Vox Machina.
Oh
yeah, I just love that show. Like I just love the cast and the characters, and like
it's a good
I
show.
could watch them going on adventures forever. You know?
Yeah.
So
that was great. That season ends super crazy too. It's like God, and now we have to wait again for it. Whoever knows how long.
Yeah. My number 1 was Paw Patrol the movie, and
for real?
Are you for real?
No.
Oh God, you got me on that one.
I was like,
you're like, oh fuck,
get out of this corner,
Paw Patrol?
dude. You're back there.
Explain.
For me, my favorite, or for me, number 1 was Bleach 1000 Blood War arc. Just because it was a crescendo of because everything I've been watching of Bleach and we've been watching together. Played video games, potentially got arrested for something, and then being able to share it as a whole. And so to kind of get to see the latest arc from manga to animation and kind of keeping it true to the soul of it, but also showing it through these, beautifully animated images. That was my number 1 for me. And my honorable mention is Scavenger's Reign.
Ooh.
HBO or on Max. And kind of a very, not avant-garde, but a clash between a drama and like an Adventure Time style of imagination and thought process going into kind of animation we're not used to. It's not atypical, but it is something that catches our eye, tells a great story, shows us a little bit more than just kind of what we normally see. And so that's why it gets my honorable mention.
Nice, man. Yeah, I know. I started it. I haven't gotten past the first episode, but it's been getting praised everywhere online. The art style, I think avant-garde is the way to do it because even the way the plants and like the animals interact is like super original. I've never seen anything like it from what I've seen from the first episode and then what I've seen online. So I think that's a solid choice. Very cool.
Sick.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, that was it for top animation. Man, great choices all around, guys. All right. Next category, we got top shows. And God, in a year where there were so many, I'll just warn you guys now. In honorable mentions, I have like 4 shows. So it was. It was. Thank you. Thanks for letting that slide. I had so many more shows that I was in love with this year than I was with movies. I don't know. It just like was harder for me to be gripped by movies this year for some reason. But shows, oh my God, did I dive in and get sucked into them? There was just so many incredible things. So my number 3 goes to Gen V.
Elaborate on why it is third.
So yes, and it's going to sound crazy when I name some of the other shows, but this is why for me, I love the way that it spun problems that we see in society now and kind of satirize them. Is that the right way to say it? I don't know, but it made them satirical, and it took like these real world issues and then like amped them up to 11. And then also like if you had, these super powered kids in college, like how crazy would all this shit be? But also like I wanted to root for these soups. In The Boys, like all of the soups are like dickheads or a-holes, minus Starlight, Kimiko, blah, blah, blah. But like most of them are a-holes. And this one, like I actually wanted these kids to like win. And that was a refreshing thing for me in the world of The Boys, especially I wasn't expecting it from a spin-off. I thought I would enjoy Gen V, but I didn't think I would love Gen V as much as I did. And I really loved the characters. Like Marie was solid. Andre was solid. Like the twist with Kate, all that stuff like really blew me away. So that's why Gen V at number 3.
Nice. That's good. Number 3, I have the it's like between these two right now. Let's go with this one. I've got The Last of Us.
Okay.
At number 3. Yeah, they did a solid job of like adapting the game to live action. I love the cast. Can't wait for the next season. I think we all really enjoyed that show.
Yeah.
There's like you said, there's so many damn good shows. It's like a lot of these are like, my number is this. No duh. Like they're all good.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, Last of Us, like
And like for me, for the shows, like any one of them could be like number 1 for one episode, and then it could be like number 3 for the next episode. So it's like they all kind of are interchangeable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think my number 3 is going to be kind of a little atypical. It is Reacher Season 2.
Wow.
That's going to be my number 3. And I'll tell you why. There's some other shows on here that I'm going to give a lot more talking to as we go further up the list. But Reacher Season 2, I loved Reacher Season number 1. And the reason why I'm super stoked for it is because it's going to come out on December 15th. I haven't even watched it yet, but it's already made my top list for the first episode. Made the list.
That's unheard of, people. We've got a new
preemptive.
Seriously, we got a new way of critiquing.
Wait, before 24, it's still in the door.
That's true.
You just realized, like, earlier Mario Bros made your list. Like, you look like you work for Nintendo, Drake.
You do.
Well, yeah, you can see my hair. I've been working for 78 hours straight.
Yeah.
And I just got back.
You look
in
like
time
your name
to do
is
the
like
podcast.
Matsumoto Hideki or something.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Tatsuyama Mitsubishi.
Yeah. Mitsubishi, Toyota, Subaru. Okay, so
yeah, we're Japanese, so we can say these things. People.
I know. Yeah. Which I feel like we say every episode now.
Okay. Justify it.
Yeah, always justifying our Japanese-ness. So for me, number 2 is Succession. It just closed the door in this way of an incredible show. It was a superpower on Max or HBO, and it just found a way to kind of like sum up everything perfectly. And it didn't have like that perfect, satisfying ending, and yet that's what made it great. So yeah, for me, Succession.
Nice.
Succession.
Second show I have is Beef.
Dang, nice.
Beef is I remember when I saw the trailer, I was like, I think I have an idea of what this show's going to be. And then when I saw it, I was like, whoa, this is like way better than I thought.
I had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought I knew what this thing was about. Like that's just like the beginning of that little parking incident thing. But yeah, this show's so good. Love the cast. And then, love seeing Andrew Santino and more.
Yeah. I agree with you on that.
Boom, boom.
Sick. My number 2 was Ahsoka. Obviously I love seeing lightsabers. Obviously I love seeing Star Wars things.
I feel like you had to go with your second thought in that one.
Yeah.
I
sorry.
love seeing Sabine or something. I don't know what
Sabine
you're
Wren
thinking.
just pixie cut and all.
Peaches?
And cream. It's mostly because I enjoyed Rebels, I enjoyed the animated Star Wars, and to see kind of those characters that were just kind of in that lore come to life on screen and blend so well into things we already loved, like Star Wars and The Mandalorian and Book of Fett. So moving forward, it just adds to this kind of great allure of what Marvel has done so well, which is team up movies off of original characters and original individual characters' movies. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Star Wars will culminate in 2024 as we continue to move forward there. So Ahsoka number 2.
Nice. Yeah, that was a great choice, man. No disagreement from me on that one. All right. So for honorable mentions, before I get into my number 1 pick for the year, you guys already named some of them. So right off the bat, I have The Last of Us, Beef, One Piece, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Loki. I think all of those shows are phenomenal and all deserve to be in the top 3 in some way or the other. But they got edged out just a little bit by 1, 2, and then of course 3. And so, yeah. So for me, the number 1 pick for the year for top show is The Bear.
Got the same list here.
Shut up. Are you for real? You got The Bear as
You're
well?
stealing my number 1s here?
Yeah. Hey, it was
The
gonna
Bear. Yeah.
You guys.
Let's skip you. The Bear for me. No.
Right? Okay, so yeah, well, I guess we could
It's
do
fucking
it
good.
together in a joint fashion then. Like, God, it's well acted, it's well written, it shows. Again, we've talked about it before, Drake, when you were a chef, you know, the stress of the preciseness, the pressure, all of that stuff. I feel like the show perfectly encapsulates that. And it just gives me so much anxiety, and yet at the same time it's just beautiful, and it's messy, but I love it. But it's also like, God, I would hate that, but God, it seems worth it in some ways. And just to capture, I feel like there's this lightning in a bottle that this show captures. And I've never seen any of the show really do it. It's just like so raw and real, and like, but like it's not murder and killing, nobody's dying, but still, it just feels like everything is so high.
Yeah, it feels like yeah, there's a lot of chaos, and then even like that's great, and then like the slow scenes are great. It's like the most interesting show about the most normal thing, you think.
Yeah,
Like it's just like people in real situations, and this is the only show where like outside of this show, like we're at work and like we're like, yes, chef.
Yeah,
On your left.
Exactly.
It's like,
It's
you know,
become
we're all fans of the show.
It's like a meme this year. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right?
so good.
Like, when the wife tells you to grab food on the way home from work, yes, chef. It's like you could just use it everywhere. Jeremy Allen White has become like a superstar overnight. Like some people knew him from Shameless. Now he's like everywhere. People are like, is he going to be James Bond? You know, it's like this launched him star. I mean, Io Adebayo, I think, from Bottoms, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, who played April. Like she's in everything now. Like this Iman Boss, what is his name? Bachrach, I think. He's been in everything now. Like the show is just insane for me, and God, it's just so good.
For sure.
Wow.
And then I had 2 of the same honorable mentions. I had Loki for sure. Like that one's like kind of rocky, but the ending, they stuck it.
They stuck the ending.
Stuck the landing.
So happy you said that.
So fucking good. And then One Piece was my other one. I love One Piece. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Like, it's so hard to do live action anime, and they did a solid job. And I'm hoping to keep going, and it's brought in new fans, and that's what it's about. It's awesome.
Definitely. I mean, the fact that you liked One Piece, like, I felt like you were going to be, in my mind, the hardest critic because you were a fan of the anime when you were just watching that. So the fact that you liked it, I was like, oh, hell yeah, they're doing something right here.
Yeah. Well, my number one could be the honorable mention and vice versa.
What?
For different reasons.
Why wouldn't your honorable mention be
the best of the shit?
My honorable mention could be my best pick of the year.
Or one that I had a hard time making into the top 3 list. So think of it that way.
I like that.
I like it.
So in this situation, it's Shrinking and The Last of Us. And the reason why is because The Last of Us was very fantastic. Obviously, it proved that video games can be shows, slash movies, epics, if you would, visually in real life with practical effects and special effects, with the story that stuck so true to how we feel about The Last of Us as a whole and those two individual characters and the world as a whole. Obviously, Drake loves zombies, but it was also because it was just so fresh. Why it could still be honorable mention is because as fans, obviously, of the games, they strayed a little bit, but also it really made all the difference to understand the world and put touches on it that just made you tear, made you feel for all these characters. Thank you, Ron Swanson. And why Shrinking is because Ted Lasso, I was coming off the tails of Ted Lasso, and obviously I love things that Bill Lawrence does, and to have so much interconnection between the shows, Zach Braff, the writers as a whole, it was just an awesome show. It touched on things that everyday individuals can understand, can cope with, but also gives you enough positivity to understand that A, you're not alone, and B, you can make it. And I think those types of shows should be more plentiful so that we can continue to build that culture here.
Hell yeah. I agree. Great show. That. Yeah, great choice. And yeah, I get what you're saying now. I thought you were just making up nonsense, but you explained it well.
Okay, Mr. Nintendo.
Yeah. Okay, we're back. We're into top movies now. And for my number 3 pick, I'm split, but I guess, yeah, one of these would have to be an honorable mention, but I'm in between Air and Flaming Hot. The kind of biography pick about the Flaming Hot Cheetos. I love that movie so much. And I also loved Air. Both of these are kind of inspirational. They both have jokes in them. They both kind of have are based off a real world thing. And they're both phenomenally acted and directed. And written. So, yeah, Air and Flaming Hot.
And you love Michael Jordan.
I do love Michael Jordan. And I also like Flaming Hot Cheetos. So I'm sensing a theme here.
Okay, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's that?
Is it Scott? You, bro.
Oh, sorry. You're going to introduce me because it's taking too long? Thanks.
No. It's open. Once I'm done, you're up.
I was scrolling down. I was like, oh, yeah, honorable mention. I should look at some other ones. So my number 3 is is the Banshee of Inisherin.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering if that was going to make anybody's list.
Colin Farrell.
Yeah, that movie was great. I just rewatched the trailer for it, and I'm like, I gotta rewatch this movie. It's it's indie film.
I think it's A24. I think it's A24. I could be wrong though.
Oh no, it could be. Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. I guess that doesn't qualify as indie. It feels like not such a. Sorry, in my head, I'm like, when I think indie, I'm like, it's not like Marvel.
Right. Like, yeah.
It's a smaller
it's not Fox
budget.
Or whatever, exactly, Paramount or something. Yeah.
But yeah, it's so well shot. Actors are amazing, of course. The chemistry between the actors are great. It's a drama. It's also a comedy. It gets you feeling for the character because it's like there's a mystery involved. There's the whole premise is like one guy doesn't want to be his friend anymore, and you're like kind of like on that guy's side, like, wait, why? And like the whole town's like, wait, why? What'd you do? And then the friend that doesn't want to be a friend is like going to extremes. It's just like a silly concept, but done so well. Like just the micro acting they do is like awesome. Definitely recommend checking that out if you guys have it.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Yeah. It put me down like a weird mental trip after I watched it. I was like diving so deep into all the meanings behind everything and stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes I like a movie like that that's like gets me thinking after the movie's done. Where I'm like, oh man, just like thinking about the movie and so every once in a while you need that.
Yeah. Anything Christopher Nolan ever makes, then.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah. All right, Drake.
Memento. My number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, okay.
Number 3 because it matches with the volume number as well too. So just like to have that parallelity.
What?
Nice.
Okay.
But,
okay.
That's a good reason. Like
it's fine.
It's a great reason. But you're like, I don't validate you, Drake.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
your answers are dumb.
It's your life, so you choose the wrong answer. Whatever. No, I'm just kidding.
But number 3 because I think as comic fans and having grown with Guardians of the Galaxy all together, we've all experienced kind of that high and that low, and this one kind of gave us the feels, right? The super feely feels, and kind of a wonderful end to the trio of the situation in terms of the movies. And number 3, because there's other movies in front of it that I think are a little bit more emotionally significant for me, but I'm also a sucker and a romantic. So, moving on.
All right.
Moving
I like that.
on, dude.
My number 2 choice is Oppenheimer. I don't really feel like
Because it was the bomb.
nice. Yes, it really was. Seeing it in IMAX was incredible, and it was a movement. I'm always a fan of any type of movie that brings people out and like gets people interacting and involved. So little bit event television or movies is in this day and age with streaming and people being able to watch everything at home. So if it like draws you out, I'm super on board with that, and I feel like Oppenheimer did that on like. Literally, in such like explosive fashion, and that sound in that movie, like I don't think I'll ever forget it. I don't know when I can see it again because it was like, oof, that's like a once a year thing, but it was phenomenal. So well acted. Cillian Murphy deserves all the shine. Robert Downey Jr. is incredible. Florence Pugh, incredible. Like all of them, man, yeah, blown away.
Oh my god,
Scott,
very nice. I don't think I could say it any better. My second pick is Oppenheimer IMAX.
right on.
That's for sure. I think I agree with that. It's the replayability is not real high for me, but it's definitely a movie that felt like it was important for me to see. Like it's like one of those like you gotta see it. If not for the cast, if not for the story, if not there's something in there for you. There's a reason for you to see this movie. Like it's great. And then IMAX, yeah, that sound was crazy. We don't have an IMAX down here in Hawaii, so I was lucky enough to catch it when we were on our trip
Missouri.
in the mainland. Missouri. Yeah, we got to catch it up there, and like
go Tigers!
it was great.
There you go.
Yep, and it blew me away.
Oh my god, it seemed to
Your
have
turn,
blown
Rick.
both of you. What
Yeah.
a slut!
We high five.
So my number 2 movie of the year is Bottoms, and I loved that movie in the sense of kind of like really ridiculous, over the top comedy that's not so ridiculous like it's not another teen movie. It's not a parody of itself, even though it kind of is meta. The actors were hilarious, the situations were hilarious, the premises were hilarious, and we haven't really had a movie like that in a long time. Something that kind of pushes the boundaries of certain things, but still stays relevant within our pop culture and where we are politically. So very hilarious to see. Bottoms is number 2 for me.
Man, I really like that choice.
Very nice.
We just watched it
Yeah.
recently, and it's like a true comedy. We always talk about how there's no true comedies anymore, and it is just that. And it's, I would say it's equivalent to Superbad in some ways, but then it gets even more ridiculous at the end. But it's like kind of cool. Like it's still.
It's plausible.
Yeah, it's plausible, but it's just like fun, and it's like if you go into it like this is a comedy, like that's a ridiculous ending, and it's kind of funny. So I love that. I like that choice a lot. Okay, my number 1. First, my honorable mention, and then my number 1. Honorable mentions this year. They were good. They're not going to blow anybody away, but they're not.
Wow.
But they're good. They're solid movies, and I think they deserve to be seen. There's other movies I probably should put on the list. I didn't see Past Lives. I didn't see Killers of the Flower Moon. Shame on me. But I will say these movies I did see. I saw them in theaters. Not Champions, but Champions is one, and then Blue Beetle. I really think that movie was solid. It deserved to have more people go see it in theaters, and it didn't. And it's now in Max. Watch it there for sure. But it gets so much right about superhero movies, and it's so fun, and yet has touches of uniqueness and originality to it. And I just feel like more people should have saw it. Oh, did I say what my number 1 is?
PG.
Oh yeah, Champions is good too. Woody Harrelson and the chick from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Watch it; it's very heartwarming. And then my number 1 pick was your number 3, Drake. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh,
That are you serious?
Yeah, I'm fucking serious.
What the fuck?
I'll send you my list later. It's
great minds think alike, boys.
It's not wrong. It's good.
It is.
Okay, you go.
Yeah, I saw it at the fan premiere event. Go check it out on social media. Did a small recap about it. It just like got me in the feel so hard in a way that like, some people are like, oh, dumb comic book movies, but like I was crying in the theater. Like I've seen it multiple times. Every time it like tugs at my heart. Well, every time I look at my animals, like my pets, I think about what their life is like.
Testing on them.
Was that?
doing testing on it.
Yes, yeah. I go full high evolutionary on them every time I'm cutting them open. No. I love, but every time I look at my pets for real, like I just think about what kind of life they probably have, and that like, you know, we're responsible for the world that we create for them, and like animals don't have a voice, they can't always speak for themselves, and like something about that really touches me. Something about this conclusion to this amazing chapter, and that, you know, James Gunn put his heart and soul into it, felt like he lost his life, but then was able to come back, make this movie, and then for it to turn out as good as it does, it's just incredible. The way the cast stood behind him. There's just so many factors of it, and I feel like this is Marvel at its peak. Anytime I hear people say like, you know, Marvel has fallen down after Endgame, like that's completely bullshit. If you watch this movie, if you watch, for me, Spider-Man No Way Home, but these are like gold standards Marvel. And God, I you know, it's so hard for me to rewatch this movie, and yet at the same time I love it so much. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Do you have different reasons, Scott, or just the same reasons as Thomas?
No, I like it for all the exact opposite reasons he likes it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Log that. No. Yeah, I mean, similar. Like, I thought, I wrote it down in my first, and I thought it was maybe silly, because out of all the movies that came out this year, and I'm like, oh yeah, like a Marvel movie's making the top. But Guardians is like my favorite movies out of the Marvel franchise. Like, it's like the team I never heard of in the beginning, and I like them the most now. And yeah, they like talk about sticking the landing. Like, they stuck this landing so hard in this like third movie. It could have very well just been its own trilogy of like if it came out back in the day and it was just like a Guardians trilogy, like it could just stand alone. You don't even need any of the other Marvel, you know, cinematic universe really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so good. Yeah, and definitely hit me in all the feels. I didn't think I'd like be that sad watching it, and then that happy, that hyped later when they're fighting in the hallway. Like, there's just so many good moments in this, and so many funny moments. Like, James Gunn super nailed it. My honorable mention, Bottoms. So good. I didn't expect that to be like. I didn't expect this comedy to come out like of nowhere and just be like so funny. That like might have, for me, for a bit after we were like kind of talking about Bottoms, I'm like, that could be number one too. Like, because I love comedies. There's not a lot of solid comedies like that movie, but definitely honorable mention. Mm-hmm. So good.
My number one was the movie called A Million Miles Away. And it's because I'll watch anything with Michael Pena. We've talked about it before. But this movie, essentially, it was about immigrant farmer who became an astronaut. And it's autobiographical to a degree. Obviously, a little bit more flair. But it was just so inspirational. It made me feel what Guardians feels, but on a nonfiction standpoint. Where, you know, fear is no excuse, right? You can achieve. You can achieve, and this movie does a perfect job at kind of showing how if you let things stand in your way, then you'll be hindered. But if you just move those aside, you can do anything. Just movie inspirational for me for going into 2024. And I would say my honorable mention is Quiz Lady. I don't know. I just thought that movie was real funny.
Yeah, definitely.
I gotta watch both of those movies.
Yeah, I can't remember how many episodes it was ago, but when you were talking about Quiz Lady, but I could tell, I was like, ooh, he really likes this one. And go check it out. Drake does a great job of kind of reviewing that one. So right on, man. I like it. I gotta watch A Million Miles Away. I think that Past Lives and like a couple other Killers of the Flower Moon is like what I need to see before the year's up. So it could change.
If you don't tear up at A Million Miles Away,
you have no heart.
Let me know if you
forgot
do or don't.
That movie. It was on my list, and then other things came out, and it's been on my back burner. I gotta watch it soon.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
It does for sure.
It's
right on.
Yeah, you're crying right now.
You're just Michael Pena, dude. He's just so good.
Yeah, he's so good.
Okay, we are now into top games of the year for us. Okay. For us. So, yeah, it's not every game that came out. And if it's like, you know, if you're asking why I don't have Starfield on there, well, I don't have an Xbox, so I didn't play that.
Fucking Xbox.
But, you know, I might have if I had an Xbox. I don't. So anyways, my number 3 pick is a game. Also, here's another caveat. Is a game that actually came out in December of last year, 2022, but I wasn't able to play it till this year. And I was like, was like a little addicted to this game for a second, and it's just so well done. It's a Firaxis game. It was Midnight Suns, so Marvel's Midnight Suns. Man, like, wow. I just didn't think I would enjoy a turn-based card game as much as I do this one, but it's so unique and finds ways to kind of make everybody cool and important, and just the ways it makes it challenging is interesting too. It actually like made me think, but once you get it down, you just kind of find a flow with it, which is weird for me as I don't really think I'm a really analytical thinker too often, but this did. And I don't know. I just had a ton of fun with it. So, yeah.
Were you collecting some shards on there, too?
You don't collect shards. You do collect, like, items and books and stuff. And then there's an element to it where you're, like, building friendships between, like, the character you create and, like, the rest of the Marvel team. And it does some of the best writing with, like, this is the most I've ever liked Captain Marvel. Whether it's been in, like, comics or, obviously, the movies. Like, this game, the way you interact with her and stuff is the coolest. There's, like, side missions where you and Blade go on like a walk or whatever, and like you get to the core of Blade. There's a part where Blade wants to like just do something fun for the group, so he starts a book club, and then each part of the book club,
Blade's book club,
yeah. I mean, which sounds ridiculous, but it makes sense within the game because it takes place over like 100 days. So it's like Blade with Captain America, with Wolverine at some point, with Captain Marvel, and then there's like a secret romance that's kind of bubbling under the surface between Blade and Captain Marvel, and like why they and it makes sense why they like each other because you're in the middle and you're kind of hearing the gossip from each side, and like they're slowly peeling back. It's like, oh, you guys like each other, but you don't even know you like each other yet. So there's just elements to that, and then like the action's cool, and like the environment, the way you use the environment in the game, it's like I feel like this game should have got more credit and it didn't. But for that, it's my number 3.
Imagine Blade's book club being like how to spot a vampire and how to do it, and it's just like how to spot it and then call me. Like it's just information in the book.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like the Wolverine side when he joins the book club. His is very like low level surfacey things, and then like Blade is actually like a really deep thinker, and he's about philosophy and like all these things and the art of war, like Sun Tzu's kind of stuff. And just it just builds out everybody's personality so damn well, and then they tie in like new characters like Nico from the Runaways, or what's her name, Colossus' sister. I forgot what her name is. Something Rasputin. Anyways, Magic. I know her as Magic. But she's interesting, and then you go into limbo one time, and you have to pull her out of limbo because she feels like she got someone killed, and dude, it's just great. Like the story building in that show from a Marvel perspective is like, man, they crushed it. I just don't feel like they got enough credit for that game.
Okay. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Speechless.
So
nice.
Yep. I'm thinking about, you said Colossus' sister, and I was trying to spin Clarissa into Colossus.
Okay.
Because I was trying to like,
why Clarissa?
Because I'm like, oh, how can you? What is the closest name to Colossus that would be a female name?
Oh yeah.
Clarissa. And like in my head, I was like trying to make that work, and it didn't. So here we are. Glad I just said it out loud. My number 3 is Zelda.
Tears of the Kingdom?
Not Tears of the Kingdom.
Not Tears of the Kingdom?
Not Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
Breath of the Wild. See, this is what happened, okay? I picked up Breath of the Wild when it first came out, and it was sitting on my shelf. Never had time to play it. Tears of the Kingdom came out. Bought that. Talking with my coworkers, they're like, you really should play Breath of the Wild because you might not ever go back because Tears of the Kingdom is fun and it's different. They kind of elevated everything that was in Breath of the Wild. So I started playing Breath of the Wild. So fun, guys. You should play it.
The internet's like,
if you haven't played it, go and play it. It's a big game too. I still haven't beaten it, but I'm having a lot of fun playing it. And I'm looking forward to, after beating it, casually jumping into Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe when the 3rd game comes out, start picking that one up, play it. Second game, that is. But it was, it's a lot of fun, and it's portable. It's on the Switch, and I'm learning all the tricks on YouTube, and it's kind of cool when you like learn how they do, like, there's like this bomb trick you can like You lay a bomb, you lay another bomb, and then it like boosts you like across the map. Learn that shit, and it's awesome.
There you go. Learn tricks from YouTube.
Do it.
Yeah, nice.
Do
like
it now.
Drake.
My number 3 is Diablo 4.
Ooh.
Diablo.
A newcomer has entered the battle.
Yeah, it's been kind of interesting to kind of get back to it. I remember playing it on the computer once, long time ago, and I was like, "What is this?" And that was when I kind of wasn't super into like high third person movies. And then over the course of us being able to play like Marvel Alliance and having played things like XCOM, and just more third-person based things. This was actually kind of fun. The element of the RPG is fun. Obviously, it's a Blizzard product, so it has great storytelling and great animation. And then being able to do it with you all was also very exciting to be able to kind of get in there and do a little D&D without the elaborate setup of our other
robes and wands and beards. Yeah. No, great choice. Yeah. I love that. All right. Next up is Jedi Survivor. It was a solid game. It's great. It's a solid Star Wars game. It has everything that you would want: double lightsaber and a pistol, dual wielding, like all of the cool shit you get for Star Wars, but just like amped up. So they expanded on the game. The only thing I really want from this now is, well, we know we're getting a number 3, but I want to see Cal Kestis in live action. And when you have a character in video games who's so good that you want to see him in real life, like I think that's a well-written character. I want to see that.
Very cool. I'm going to say my number 2, but I have a feeling we have the same number 1. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
Oh, no.
My number 2 is Hogwarts Legacy. That game is
nice.
really fun. Yeah. If you're a Harry Potter fan, this game's a shit. Even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, still a lot of cool, interesting stuff they have in this game. I feel like they nailed everything. The only thing that could have made it better, but was still a good game without it, was like some sort of multiplayer. But if that would have hindered the game, I'm glad they didn't put it in. So I'm looking forward to the next installment. If they, I don't know, did they agree to do one? If so,
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we're not getting any DLC, I think, because they're like,
it's going to go all towards that next game.
I think so.
I'm for it.
Quidditch.
I am for it.
Nice.
Yeah. My number 2 is exactly what Scott said. It is Hogwarts Legacy. It's one that I've been looking at and talked about with you all for a long time. And it met expectation. It was pushed back because Cyberpunk was put on its nose, and they took the time, they put in the effort, and it's everything you would hope it could be. There are things that you want a little bit more from, but I hear, like Scott had said, it's coming moving forward. Things like Quidditch, things like a little bit more customization, things like being able to go to Azkaban, and
Azkaban.
We'll be seeing that moving forward. So Hogwarts Legacy, definitely. Please do a number 2 because
all
it's
over your chest.
Scott and I's number 2. Yep.
There you go. Nice. All right, Scott. Just to be a friend here, because if we do have the same number 1, I want it to actually seem like it's your idea first. Go for it. You can give your number 1 an honorable mention.
Okay. It rhymes with
booty.
That dumb pick you had earlier for your movie, Schmider Man.
Okay.
Is that your number 1? No, I'm just joking. It's an awesome movie. I keep saying your pick was dumb. It's not dumb, sorry.
Which pick?
But
wait,
you said Spider-Man Across the Universe was your pick, and we were joking about how it's a dumb pick.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't dumb. I like that movie.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But Spider-Man 2, the video game. Is that what you have?
That is my number 1 as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that game, they nailed everything. It's amazing. But I didn't get to finish it yet. I'll let you further explain that because you got to play it through completion. So go.
Oh, yes. There was a lot of completion. Oh, God.
Yeah,
dude. Tell me about it.
From the start of that game, go back, you can listen to our reviews, but from the start of that game, I was like, this is something special. Like, we've seen Spider-Man so much in our lucky lives growing up when we did, whether, the first live action movie to the cartoon when we were younger to video games, but this was done incredibly well. Had two different Spider-Man. They had unique stories, and they also both felt useful, and they felt like they were a good team, and it felt like you really did have to switch between both of them. And then to wrap up in the game some of Spider-Man's biggest villains and make it make sense. Like, bro, they had this monumental task, and somehow Insomniac keeps like topping themselves. I don't even know how they do it anymore. But, you know, Spider-Man 1 was great. Then Miles Morales was also great. It seemed better than Spider-Man 1. And then this seemed better than both of those. So, dude, oh my God. If you're a comic fan or like any of that stuff and you haven't played this game, you are seriously missing out because for sure, top 3 Spider-Man experience of my life is so damn good.
Yeah. And like, how pumped is this making you for the Wolverine game? Like, I'm glad this studio's taking a swing at the Wolverine. Like, if there's ever going to be a good one, I feel like they're going to do a solid job.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I don't even know how you do Wolverine, but it's like, if it's anything like this, I'm so on board. Like, God, oh man. Oh boy. This is speechless. This game is phenomenal. Drake.
Well, my number 1 is not your guys' number 1, and it's only because I've been slightly obsessed with football over the course of the time. And by football, I mean association football, and by association football, I mean soccer. Yeah. So Football Manager 24 has been my number 1 pick since being introduced to like FIFA and then getting into kind of the more tactical side of it. Mm-hmm. And the game has been so influential that within the Premier League, which is the United Kingdom's, or I guess the world's best club league or domestic league, have hired individuals based off of their experience and success in the game. And that's crazy to think about, this Gran Turismo style of situation where you can play a video game and it directly translates to the actual thing that it kind of mimics in game form. Mm-hmm. And to see that happen and to be able to kind of play it and see, you know, what all the hype is about, but also to kind of dive more into the thing that I'm slightly obsessed with now. It's been wonderful. So FM24 gets my number 1 vote.
2024, Drake is now the coach of Arsenal.
That would be insane.
Yeah. That would be super dumb for them, but yes, that would be tight.
Fake it till you make it, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's so good at that video game. Fucking hire his ass. Yeah, man. That's cool. I love it. You're coming with some original picks and very fitting. But like, now I know if I have any questions when it comes to football. Dude, we get the World Cup next year, right? Is that next year?
2026.
Oh, it's 2026.
The Copa America, I believe, is in 2024. So that's like the U.S. is going to be in the Argentinian and Brazilian style. So we're going to be facing those guys. It'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Great games this year. I know I kind of wish I was able to play more of like Starfield or what else? There was other like big games on this. Tears of the Kingdom, because I didn't play Breath of the Wild. I was like, no, but I do want to play it. Those games look great. And like people were like, that is a top tier game for sure. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to play them a little bit more, maybe for Christmas. All right, so we are in top comic books category now, and we'll just quickly go through it. I'm just gonna like ramble them off all in order just to kind of save some time. My number 3 pick is a guest of the show, Art Edwin, and we had Dave Law on here. They wrote a fantastic comic, and I do actually really enjoy it. And I was so surprised by the ending of issue 1. It's such an interesting idea. It's called California Inc. And the whole premise is that California became its own privatized country and kind of seceded, I guess, away from the United States. But then because of that, there's all these warring factions in California. And the first, not to spoil too much, issue starts in Tahoe, and these like basically, warring faction / assassin is trying to like take over Lake Tahoe because it's such a big source of water for California. And then like crazy shit ensues from there. But I was like, man, like when's issue 2 coming out? Like, this was great. So that was fun.
Nice.
I guess I don't know if any of these are cop out because I loved all our guests' comics, like I really did. Whether it was like Brian Lambert's comic from Wingless Comics, Unjustice, all that was really good. Who else did we have on in the comic front? Oh, Alan Dunford. If you haven't read any of those of his comic, Hocus Hocus, super freaking good.
Yeah.
So I can't really
original,
like. They're all in this category together. But my number 2 was the Gargoyles franchise that just relaunched. It was done by I'm like blanking his name right now, but I want to say Weiserman. He helped create the show back in the 90s that we all watched. He's now doing the comics too. They just came out with issues 12. I'm not all the way up there yet, but from what I've read so far, it's adding so much lore to the Gargoyles universe and like getting more of these characters that I loved from the cartoon. We reviewed the show on Challenge Accepted, and God, that world is so rich and interesting, and yeah, it's just so sick that they brought back this comic. So really, really digging that. And then my last one, it's an old comic that I just, forgive me,
Unicorn Man. Oh,
yeah, my last one is Unicorn Man. Sorry, if you're just listening, my dunce hat slid forward. But the last one is The Rise of X. I started this year, back in 2019 from Jonathan Hickman, reading all of the House of X and Powers of X comics. And it is doing things to the X-Men that I am blown away with. There's a story in that run, this is before Rise of X, and there's a part where they have figured out a way to make everybody reincarnated and like bring them back to life, like almost immortal in a sense, but they all have to go on this mission, and it's like a suicide mission, and Charles and Magneto are like, hey, we need you guys to go on this mission, and we don't know if you're going to be able to come back. And like slowly, like each one of these people are dying, and even though we know they can come back, it's still so heart-wrenching, and it's still so intense. And at the last moment, Cyclops is trying to get back to Jean, and he's turning the corner, and Jean's basically the last one left. They're like the last 2 mutants left. And he gets captured, gets knocked to the ground, and you hear him talking to her, and she's in this spaceship on like the side of this thing. And this lady like points this gun to his head, and he was like, well, hold on, like I gotta get back. She doesn't even let him get another word. Boom, shoots him in the head. Since she's a psychic, she can hear all of his last thoughts. And we also know at that moment that she's basically alone in like space, and that she's, they're gonna just murder her. So there's crazy levels of like deep parts. There's a part where simultaneously in the same issue, I think, there's this last moment where Wolverine, like everybody's getting killed, and it's Wolverine and Nightcrawler, and they're this one part, and they have to break apart the center of this space station because it's near the sun. It's basically a Dyson sphere that they're using to create advanced AI that's eventually going to create a weapon so powerful that mutants or evolution's not going to be able to stop it. But there's one section of this piece that's still stuck to the space station, and Wolverine knows, like, there's no other way we can do this. Like, you got to bamf me out of there, and I got to slice it off. But they both know if they go out to the side of the spaceship, like, the sun's going to burn them alive. And they're having this conversation of, like, we know we have to do this. Wolverine asks him, like, what do you think death's like? Like, do you think a person like me gets to go to heaven? And he's like, I think so. And he's like, and I will tell you, my friend, like, I'll be waiting there for you. And boom, Dan's out there, and like the whole, Nightcrawler instantly just burns up.
Uniboner.
And then Wolverine is like slashing away at this while like all the muscles in his body are like falling off and everything. And I'm just like, it shook me.
Dude,
literally shook me to the core.
Read this. It's called House of X. That's the beginning.
Yeah, so this goes back to 2019. They're now presently they're in the fall of X, but so it goes House and Powers of X, then the Rise of X. And there's a bunch of different. I'm now in the Rise of X. The Marauders is fantastic. The normal Immortal X-Men runs are really, really good, but this is like the start of it. And now we're in the phase. Then we had Axe Judgment, like Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, and then currently in the run this year it was Fall of X. So that's where things are currently at.
I need a list from you.
But I am reading like every book basically up until then, and
sold.
Dude, it is phenomenal. It's like fully like reignited this passion for the X-Men, and at the same time, like it's treating me like adult. The only thing I will say, there's a lot of like side things. It's really complex. There's like side notes and like diagrams of how things work. It's a lot, but I'm willing to dive into it, and it's paid dividends. So yeah, that's my top pick of the year.
Sick.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
That sounds good, dude.
It was good. So, yeah, a little bit of super fan. But yeah, and then, yeah, we'll let you guys go. Do you have any books, comic books?
Yeah. So I did like I got a manga, Audible, and then like a podcast.
Sick. Yeah, fire away.
Yeah, cool. So, manga, One Piece. So good. I mean, there's a lot of good mangas right now, but I think this one in particular, this year was so big for One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
And not only in the show, but in the comic, he like beat one of the 4 emperors, and he leveled up even more. Really good. A lot of stuff that we've been waiting to see are like happening right now. So pretty sick.
Nice.
One Piece, strongly recommend. There's this audiobook I picked up. I guess the book came out in like 2014, but just this year they had a full cast like release for like the voices and whatnot, the narrating and stuff. And it's called Red Rising. Really good. It kind of reminds me of like a Hunger Game-esque, like the first book. It's like this guy who like he like works in the mines, and they're part of like the people are classified by colors, like the caste system.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a red, and he works on like he's on Mars, and the golds are like the top people say, and you're like born into your caste kind of thing, right? And kind of raised to do what you're supposed to do. And the Reds are trying to rise, and he ends up being pulled into like their resistance, and they manipulate him Halo style, and they like make him into like a Spartan, basically. Like, we're gonna make you into a gold. We're gonna like change your muscles, change like everything about you. You're gonna look different. You're gonna sound different. You're gonna be able to think like a gold, move like a gold, but you'll know that you're originally a red. And then we're gonna put you in a school like they do, and then you're gonna rise up the ranks, and then like eventually we'll call on you. Like, that's the main goal.
They're like planting a mole that's gonna like overtake.
Planting a mole, yeah. And it's following him. So it's cool. Is like there's 2 narrators. Like, his internal monologue, he's like Irish, and he still has that Irish accent. But then when he talks, I just keep picturing, you know, the guy who played Adam Warlock in Guardians 3?
Yeah.
I keep picturing that guy as him. Yeah, him.
Okay.
Like, he sounds like him, but then his like internal monologue is like his like red Irish guy. But really cool. It's like he gets thrown into these, like, they got to do like this whole survival thing, and like it's just really cool. I'd strongly recommend at least just checking it out, reading up on it.
Nice.
Called Red Rising.
That's awesome.
And especially with the full cast, it's awesome. John turned me on to it.
Nice, Johnny
He's
Harris.
like, check it out. And then I finished. Yeah, Johnny Harris.
Nice.
And I finished the book, and he's like, "Oh shit, you finished?" And he's like, "Let me catch up." And like, so we've been just kind of. I'm on the second book now. It's really good.
Wow.
They just released the full audio.
Awesome.
For it. And then for podcasts, just got into the Are You Garbage a lot this year.
Right.
Those guys are just so funny. I recommend, like, if you're just looking for something that's like, I don't know, you're stressed out, you just want to have a laugh, just turn those dudes on. They're just like a couple of buds like us, you know, and they're just like, they're from East Side, so they have those kind of accents, and it's just the whole thing about them is very unique to them. And then I just joined their Patreon, and it's like they have another podcast within it called Hard Feelings, and they just like trash each other.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's been bothering me, and it's just like, I don't know, it's so entertaining, it's so funny. I would recommend Are You Garbage podcast.
There, so yeah, that thing's great. The premise is great too. Like, Oreos or Chips Ahoy? Chips Ahoy. Oh man, you're trash.
The big guy's writing it down like, oh, classy.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
And it's funny, they determine for them like what's classy, what's that. And there's guests that are like, how's that classy? Like, I don't know. We just think it's a little more classy. You know, you use this.
Right.
It's just like nothing matters. It's like the points don't matter, but it's funny.
Yeah.
And at the end, they tell you if you're trash or classy, and it's good either way. So it's just you get an interesting interview too, because there's not a lot of repeated answers. Like if there's a famous comedian or actor or whatever that goes on there, you're never gonna hear that interview anywhere else.
Right.
So it's great.
Yeah, the Shane Gillis one was good. I saw that one. That one was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on, Drake.
So in terms of comics, as a stand-up comics, I think Shane Gillis's stand-up special super hilarious. I just never the most recent one that he did.
Something dogs.
Yeah, some dogs. Just
So funny.
so funny. I lack the availability to explain it because I just wouldn't do it justice in terms of delivery, overall presence. The premises are just they're not avant-garde, but they touch on things that you think can't really be touched and just make you laugh. The Navy SEALs bit is
so funny.
Just super
classic.
hilarious.
Yeah, that one's going around all over the internet now.
Yeah, because rightfully so, it's super hilarious. Any type of animated situation that's bound in a book is technically a comic book, and I would say 3 of these stand out for me the most, and they all technically happen to have animated series as well too. Invincible,
Nice.
Kimetsu no Yaiba or Dragon Slayer obviously came out with its most recent season, and they're both doing extremely fantastic. Obviously, being true to the characters, true to the IP, but also moving it forward. Mm-hmm. And then thirdly, for that one, Blue Lock, which is going on the soccer theme as well too.
Yeah, I gotta start reading that or watching it, man. I hear so many people say how awesome it is. Yeah,
just imagine the intensity of Shonen Jump type situations, but also kind of how anime really kind of parks itself on the dark side, but brings you there in a very beautiful vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And Blue Lock is kind of that way in the sense of we are a nation of individuals who notice that we're getting better at soccer, but we want to be the best. So how can we get there? So they use the general ideas of like Kaizen and fighting through an endurance in this huge not tournament, but facility that's called Blue Lock, and they take all the best players from across Japan, and they're trying to make them egoists in the sense of like your id and ego, so that they can create a team / individual players that can compete on the national level. And it's an interesting take on an association working to help bring that sport to prominence in their own country. And then in terms of comic books, more traditionally, there was something that I looked a little bit further into when I first heard about it. I got to read a little bit of it, and it's by an individual named Olivia Stevens, and it's called Darlin and Her Other Names. And I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I'm just going to read you the synopsis because I want you to kind of like sit on it.
Okay.
Sure.
It is a werewolf western horror romance comic set across Colorado and Kansas in 1881.
That's wild.
So the majority of the comic in itself is black and white, or shades, I should say. And what illuminates the most is the red that happens to be on the page at points in time. The story in itself is like 2 strangers who meet during an incident, like something critical happens. And they forge a vengeful partnership, much like what we saw in Blue-Eyed Samurai, but a little bit more dark, a little bit more sensitive. It's a very interesting kind of, not new, but new take on comic books as a whole. It was extremely interesting. I think you should definitely check it out.
What's it called again?
Yeah, what was the name?
It's called Darlin' and Her Other Names.
And Her Other Names.
That's
yes.
Cool. Man, hell yeah.
Check this out. Where do you read this?
Bottom. Yep.
Nice.
And it was a 2023 Ignatz Award winner, so for outstanding artist. So it's got some credibility. It's got some clout. It's got some trophies.
Cool. Yeah, definitely want to check that out. That sounds awesome, man. Well, yeah, man, we've been able to like watch, read, play some amazing things like we always talk about. The last bit for the night, we're going to just kind of talk about our favorite episodes of the year that we all did together, give ourselves a little bit of a pat on the back. And I will kick it off with 3 episodes. There's no particular order. These are our episodes, so like I'm not gonna rank them. But I think if you want to send somebody an episode to listen to of ours, this is probably where you should start, at least from my perspective. Some of the best episodes of the year for me were episode 91. Starts off with Daisy Jones and the Schticks. I'm going to pull it up really quick so I can give you the full name, because the names belong this year. For the SEO, I was like, I'm putting everything down, whatever the name is. So let's see. So episode 91. Let me go all the way down to this Biz Digital.
It's probably right after 90.
Here it is. I got it. Yep. So yeah, I'm going to change all this, by the way. Now I'm putting all the numbers in front of the title. So anyways, it was Daisy Jones and the Schticks, Ted Lasso, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, with special guest, and it was my wife. So that was great. She killed it on that episode. It was so fun doing something with her that she was really stoked on. And Daisy Jones happened to be a pretty good show. Not good enough to be on my top 3, but it was pretty good. So yeah, episode 91 was really, really fun. And then episode 106, let's see if I can find it. And it is From Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to the Haunted Hallways and Fantastic Four casting. Check this one out. We had so much fun on this one. It was hilarious. We were cracking up the whole time. It just stood out to me because it was so funny. I posted some clips on the social media, but those don't encapsulate everything that we said in that episode. So check that one out. And then I will, the last one for me, honorable mention, episode 80. Check that one out. And then 114, Farewell to Ahsoka, Season 1, and Welcome to Gen V, with a swing by of Spider-Man 2. That one was a really fun episode. We were laughing. We had some good points. So yeah, these were some incredible episodes that stood out to me. We put out 51 episodes this year. If we put up one more, even bonus episode, we would have had an episode for every week. It's crazy. But those are probably the 3 episodes that stood out to me the most. What about you guys?
Nice. I like that. So my 3, we'll start with episode 110, called From the Grand Line to a New Galaxy.
That was a good one.
Yeah, we talk about One Piece, Ahsoka, and Loki. I think that's when we were introduced to the trailer of Loki, what we're expecting and whatnot. That was a lot of fun. I think especially because I was so hyped over the One Piece. It's great.
Yeah.
So good.
And I think we had a lot of fun there for that one, and you and Drake just crushed it. That was an awesome episode. I really dug it. I thought you guys killed it on that one.
Doing it. Wow.
Yeah, I think we did an awesome job. Though we always miss you, Tom.
Shut up.
Anyway, second episode is the 100th episode.
Yeah, that was
that was fun. It's always fun, especially we do things a little different. We had some games and stuff. It's always
Sucker
fun.
Punch in the house.
Change it up. Yeah, it was a good celebratory thing we had.
Yeah, we had Jazz and Kobe help us out on that one too, or be on the episode in one way or the other. That was sick. Audio was a little rough on that one, so sorry guys, but that was the best that could be done at that point.
Yeah, still tons of fun.
Yeah,
and
so
then
anyway,
yes, and then my last one was our bonus episode, Avatar. Way of Water.
Nice.
I think mainly because we all got to watch the movie in person, and then we all jumped in Drake's rent-a-car and we recorded it there in person.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the only one we did in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All of us.
It totally changes everything too. Seeing everybody, and I mean, we see each other now, but being in person is a different vibe. That's going to be in my predictions and hopes for the future, but man, more episodes together would be great.
For sure. So in no particular order, definitely Avatar was really great just to be together. Like Tom said, changes the dynamic. Like Scott said, it's just friendship, right? So, for sure. Moving forward, please. One of my favorite ones that we did was the Last of Us finale, which was number 90. And the reason why is because we talked about Hogwarts Legacy. We talked about Ted Lasso. We talked about The Last of Us. We talked about Shrinking. We talked about You. We talked about The Mandalorian. These were the highlights of the year. And we got to touch on every single one of them. And to be able to do that Yeah, man, just friendship. I'm glad we still do this. It just makes me feel so good about it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
for sure.
moving forward. Another one is the one right before the one you talked about, Thomas, is the Marvels episode 120.
Oh.
Or no. Did you say 121? No,
Nope.
you said 91.
Yeah.
That was for the last
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Marvels one just because, for lack of a better term,
We dunked
when
all
we
over
talk
that
about
movie.
this movie, we did dunk on it, but we found ways to uplift it. Even though we were critical of it, we still gave it some compliments. We helped build it back up into something that for us was a little bit more manageable. And that shows teamwork. That shows a little bit of maturity, and it also shows that you can still have faith in the Marvels and Marvel, even though there might be some bumps in the road.
I like that.
And for the other thingamabob within the general Sichmahu is the one that it was a bonus episode for A Million Miles Away, is where Alondra and I, my wife, and I kind of talked about that movie. And to hear it from her perspective as well, kind of how she views it, because she also is an immigrant from Mexico who also happens to, work in the farming industry at one point in time. And to see how far she's come, and to see that an individual like that has gone that way, especially that person being culturally similar Mexican as well, I believe, to see how it affects individuals. Man, you got to see it to believe it. So watch that movie if you ever get a chance.
Damn.
Or better yet, listen to the review, then go watch the movie. Please support the Joy Schtick Show.
Yeah.
Nice. Dude, yeah. That's so great. I know we got, pretty much all the significant others were either on an episode or supported the show in one way or the other. And it's special. It's kind of moved beyond just us, and the significant others are involved. So thank you to all of our wives. This wouldn't happen if we, they weren't helping us out, supporting us. So
thanks, honey babes.
Yeah. So, okay, last bit before we wrap up tonight. One thing that we hope happens with the Joy Schtick Show next year, and one thing, movie, show, video game that we're looking forward to in 2024. Do you guys want me to go? Do you guys want to go first? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, sure. I want, hoping to get a new mic. That's something that's solely in my control.
Okay.
So, that's my goal.
Yeah, I should just do
that's what
that.
I'm hoping for, yeah. Maybe I do headphones too, because this thing keeps crickling and crackling.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing, hopefully we're able to reach new people and build a bigger audience. That'd be great. I think we're on track with that, but yeah, that'd be amazing. Like you said, if we can do at least one even meet up in real life, and then do some pods or something, that'd be great. And then I guess the big thing I'm looking forward to for sure is Dune 2.
Ooh.
Bruh.
Ooh, that's a good one. God, I am so looking forward to that too. That's a great call. Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to. Well, we'll start off with the movies that I'm looking forward to. Literally every movie that comes out in 2024, I'm almost looking forward to. Sonic the Hedgehog's coming out. Beverly Hills Cop is coming out. They're doing a Gladiator 2. Thunderbolts is coming out. There's going to be Dune 2. There's going to be Deadpool 3. There's going to be Planet of the Apes. There's going to be so much things that I'm going to have so little time to watch all of them.
Madam Web?
And also,
you said all the movies in
Madam
2024?
Web, Blade, Kung Fu Panda 4, 2024.
Dude!
Also,
oh, gosh.
2024 is the year of the dragon. That's all of our years. That's our lucky year. That's when things are going to happen.
Things are supposed
for
to be
us.
moving and shaking this year.
Yeah, it's going to be moving and a shaking. So I predict that someone's going to view it. Someone's going to view the Joy Schtick Show, and they're going to say, "Oh, those fucking Tree Brothers, pretty funny. You know what? I think if they just had a little bit more support, maybe financially and emotionally, this freaking podcast would skyrocket towards the sky and stay afloat in the air for a long time, because these buggers are real good at what they do."
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that hopefully maybe we get a sponsor.
And I think they're Japanese.
Yeah, pretty much. Hopefully, yeah. It's going to be Nintendo or Panasonic or Sony. Maybe Daihatsu. Who knows? You know what I mean? Toyota, Mitsubishi.
Bro,
Honda.
but I still believe.
And,
still believe in these brothers.
Yeah, still believe.
Can.
And one thing I hope that we do and start making a little bit more available is, the once a year maybe 2 to 3 day gather podcast in person situation. I just think more of those fulfills a lot of things, fulfills the friendship, fulfills the being able to do the podcast, changes the vibe of the podcast, and also we'll probably eat some really great food and hang out like how we used to, and the nostalgia creeps up on me and gives me great pleasure.
Yeah, we can call the meetup episodes like Crossing Streams or something.
Yeah, or like Circle Jerk.
Yeah, touching our Schticks.
Yeah, sword fighting.
Yeah.
R//trap.
Yeah. We got it, right? Just as a throwback.
Yeah, might as
Absolutely.
well.
Just for
In Thailand,
Schticks.
let's go.
Man, you guys just said so many things. It's making me so excited for 2024. It's already been a fantastic year. We did so much more with the podcast than I could have even imagined, from just...
Thomas did a lot with it too, though.
No.
Thomas did,
You're putting in the hard work.
it's okay.
Scott and I have regular jobs.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's tough to run by, but you are doing so much for us. Not only are you on other platforms, but you're learning how to do things. You're autodidact, and you're growing friendships and relationships that are going to push this thing beyond. Yeah. And Scott and I are happy to be a part of it, and really look forward to hanging out with you.
Yeah, and it's just getting better too, the way you do it.
Every time, every day.
Total team effort. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's been a crazy year. It's been a lot. We definitely have learned a lot. 51 episodes is nothing to laugh at or sniff at. Man, God, every episode, it did keep seeming like it was getting better and better. So, man, I'm so excited to do this again. I want to get to episode 150, but yes, I want at least a couple episodes. If we did 1 episode in person this year, I want 2 next year, 4, why not? Let's get some sponsors. Let's get on all the channels. Let's up it. I think we are only getting better. We're just hitting our stride. God, there's so much cool stuff. We had a strike in the middle of it that really threw a wrench in some plans, and it really changed the way I think, I looked at how we were going to gather content and everything. But we, persevered through that. We started in a pandemic, and baby, we're still here. So 2024 is going to be badass. Man, I love this so much. I'm looking forward to Deadpool, and I think I'm looking forward to Furiosa. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of looking forward to Madam Web because I want to see what this madness is about.
Yeah, let's all watch that in person, guys.
Let's do it. Yeah. Scott, does it look good? No.
One of them private theaters.
So hell yeah, let's get to an event next year. Let's try to figure out a con or something. Let's all go to it. Let's do more in person, and let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it running. So with that being said, let's all say the catchphrase together. And 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for sticking it with us.
Yeah.
The Joy Schtick Show.
If you've enjoyed what you've been listening to, we'd really appreciate a follow, subscribe, and a review. Just how we like chatting with our friends, please share this with yours. Feel free to join the squad and follow us at JoySchtickshow, Joy Schtick Show on Twitter and Instagram, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you feel like submitting topics or questions to be discussed on future episodes, you can email us at joystick.show@gmail.com. As always, thank you, peace out, and make it a great rest of your week.